Uber killer. The early morning air was crisp and heavy with dew as Elrond Martin pulled his battered black Toyota Prius onto the gravel driveway of a quaint stone cottage nestled deep in rural Wales. He adjusted his rearview mirror, his eyes catching his reflection. The faint scar on his temple itched, a phantom memory of his years behind bars. Lucky for him, the SDS-40 early release scheme introduced by the government had got him out of Wandsworth, designed to ease the pressure on our overburdened prison system. The fact was that many criminals had got out, and some like Elrond were absolutely insane. The system was broken, and people did not seem to care. Elrond had just taken his medicine and was trying to be positive. His heart thumped steadily, a rhythm of suppressed rage and a strange, twisted anticipation. Nick and Angela Davies emerged from their home, luggage in tow, brimming with excitement for their trip to Spain. Angela waved politely as Elrond pulled up to the drive. He then stepped out to help load their bags into the boot. He flashed a practiced smile, the kind he'd perfected since obtaining his fake Uber credentials from his Romanian connections. Friends he had made on the inside. "All set for the airport?" he asked in a warm, rehearsed tone. "Absolutely," Nick replied, clapping his hands together. "Our son's just got engaged. Can't wait to meet his fiancée." Elrond nodded, climbing back into the driver's seat. What an idiot, he thought. He felt a twinge of something in his mind, but he pushed it aside as they set off. The journey began smoothly. Angela chatted amiably about her son's achievements, while Nick kept an eye on the winding roads. Elrond remained quiet, letting their voices drift into the background as his focus wavered between the GPS and his growing frustrations. His passengers didn't know it, but he was deliberately avoiding the main roads. Something about the isolation of the countryside appealed to him and his darker instincts. After an hour, Nick leaned forward, frowning. "Mate, why have you gone off the main road? The M4's quicker." Elrond felt his chest tighten. His hands gripped the steering wheel until his knuckles turned white. "Traffic," he muttered, avoiding Nick's eyes. "Traffic," Nick snorted. "We've barely seen another car. Just stick to the main roads, yeah? We've got a plane to catch." Elrond's jaw clenched. The critical tone in Nick's voice ignited a smoldering rage. He glanced at Angela in the rearview mirror. She looked concerned, but silent. The tension thickened. Without a word, Elrond veered the car onto a narrow dirt path and slammed on the brakes. "What the hell are you doing?" Nick barked. Elrond turned in his seat, his face a mask of cold fury. "Get out," he said flatly. "What?" Angela gasped. "Get out!" Elrond roared, yanking Nick's door open. Nick barely had time to react before Elrond dragged him out by his shirt. Angela screamed as Elrond's fist came down on Nick with unrelenting force. Nick's protest turned to guttural groans, then silence as his body crumpled to the ground, motionless, in a pool of blood. "Elrond, please," Angela sobbed. "You don't have to do this." Elrond turned to her, his breathing ragged. "You're a witness." Angela, scared beyond belief, just bolted, adrenaline propelling her into the dense woods lining the road. She stumbled over the rocky terrain and ducked under ditches, her breath coming in panicked gasps. Elrond followed, his heavy boots crunching leaves and twigs as he stalked her like a predator. She was beyond terrified and unable to fathom what had just happened. Angela crouched behind a thick oak tree, her heart pounding in her ears. She could hear him, muttering to himself as he searched. "You can't hide forever," he called, his voice eerily calm. "I've got all day." She bit her lip to stop her from crying. She had to think. Her son, her family. She had to survive. Elrond's shadow loomed closer. Just as he passed, Angela lunged from her hiding spot, sprinting deeper into the forest. But Elrond was fast. He caught her by the arm and threw her to the ground. "No, please!" she cried, kicking and flailing. He straddled her, his hands wrapping around her throat. His eyes, wild with madness, bore into hers as he squeezed. Angela's vision blurred, her strength waning. Then her fingers brushed something rough, an exposed branch, splintered and sharp. Summoning every ounce of willpower, She snapped it free and drove it into his eye with a desperate scream. Elrond howled in agony, clutching his face as blood poured down his cheek. He toppled over, twitching violently before going still. Angela stumbled out of the woods, her clothes soaked in blood and her breath ragged. She reached the main road, her mind spinning with relief. Then came the headlights. The delivery truck hit her at full speed, its driver too distracted by his phone to notice until it was too late. Angela's body flew into the air and hit the tarmac, her dream of reuniting with her son extinguished in an instant. The truck driver pulled over, trembling as he dialed emergency services. He would never recover or work as a driver again. Meanwhile, somewhere in the woods, Elrond's lifeless body lay in the shadows, a grim reminder of the violence lurking beneath the surface of some people's reality. And the Davies family story faded into the headlines. Uber killer strikes again. Tragic end for local couple. The end.